Final in this one, 72-63. Utah State gets the 9-point victory. They get their 11th win of the season. They start the conference year at 2-0. Hey, look, it wasn't pretty, but you know what? At the end of the day, you get the win. It's the most important thing. Aggies, again, stay undefeated in conference play. Today's postgame show brought to you by Farm Bureau agent Brandon Jensen. Contact Brandon today at 435-752-4800. It's your future. Time to protect it. Well, the Aggies get 18 points from MJ Collins. Mason Falslev chips in 16 and 16 points, or excuse me, 16.8 rebounds. Drake Allen had a nice night. Didn't score the ball, but really didn't take a lot of shots. He had 3 points, but had 6 rebounds. Also dished out 4 assists. The Aggies assisted on 12 of their 26 made field goals, a little bit below their average, but a lot of that is the fact that Utah State got so many opportunities in the open court. 29 of Utah State's 72 points tonight came in fast break, and that just shows you how good Utah State is in the open court, how well they can manage and finish at the rim, and Utah State able to turn so many of those turnovers into points. But the Aggies also turned it over 20 times tonight, and I think that's one thing that you're going to hear from Coach here in a few minutes, talk about a level of disappointment there with Utah State turning the ball over 20 times in this game. As we mentioned, Mason Falslev was really good in this game, but the one player I thought really was a stabilizing force with Colby King. Ended up with 13 points, was the first player to make a three, got Utah State off the goose egg, shooting the three early on, made a couple in the first half. And then I thought for the most part just was a nice steadying. Look, he's a veteran, he's been around the game a long time, and he played like it tonight. And Utah State needed every bit of his effort. Aggies dealt with a lot of foul trouble. Nobody officially fouls out, but Elamine with 4, Clark with 4, Templin with 4. And as soon as Fresno State appeared like they could get after Utah State and take them off the dribble, they were trying to do that time and time again, and frankly, it worked a little bit. As Fresno State ends up shooting 22 free throws tonight, 18 of 22. Utah State also 22 free throws, where they were 15 of 22. We'll take another break. Utah State gets the W tonight. Final score 72-63 on the Aggie Sports Network from Learfield.
Utah winters come fast. Is your car ready? Don't miss this special at Master Auto Tech. Right now, buy 3 tires and get 1 free for up to $200 off. Why pay for 4 when you can get 1 for free? With 22 locations, including Logan, Brigham City, and Ogden, it's easy to get rolling. Don't wait. This special offer ends December 31st. Visit masterauto.tech and drive safe this winter.
Your trusted, helpful expert, Master Auto Tech.
For more than a century, S. Needham Jewelers has been repairing jewelry and watches in Cache Valley. We do all our work on premises, and you may even talk directly with our expert technicians. We also have today's state-of-the-art equipment, including a laser welder that will repair jewelry with precision. We guarantee our work and offer competitive prices. So whether repairing your precious wedding ring, sizing a ring, or simply changing a watch battery, come to Utah's oldest jewelry store with today's newest technology and repair. S. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
Thank you for letting Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, the Allergy Clinic, and the Hearing Aid Center care for your family this year. Be sure to call us for an appointment before the end of the year to make the most of your cafeteria or flex funds. Located in Providence and North Logan, Cache Valley ENT also has offices in Box Elder, Rich, Bear Lake, and Franklin counties. The entire team at Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat wish you and your family a healthy holiday season. Go to CacheValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance plans, including Select Health, are accepted.
Over the past few years, strong and crazy weather patterns have battered various parts of the country. Northern Utah and southern Idaho are not immune from its share of wild weather. Be prepared for power outages with a Generac backup generator from Golden Spike Electric. They are your local source for Generac sales and service. Generac keeps you in control when bad weather strikes. Golden Spike Electric, powering your peace of mind. Online at gsegenerators.com or call 257-3016. They also service other models.
This Utah State Aggie broadcast is brought to you by
Adams Wealth Advisors, your trusted financial team. Whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning, on News Talk KVNU.
State, usually not a high turnover team. Utah State came into this game on the season averaging, I'm trying to find their only 11.9 turnovers a game. That's kind of where you want to be, but Utah State with 20 turnovers in this one. And joining us now, the head coach of the Aggies, Jerrod Calhoun. And Coach, I guess first thing we'll talk about, we'll go glass half empty a little bit right out of the gate. 20 turnovers on the night. I believe that's a season high.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin, Scotty. That was one for the ages. I haven't seen that sloppy of an offensive performance in a long time.
Defensively, though, you did force turnovers. You almost got 20 of your own. And I want to say in 29 out of your 72 points came in the fast break. Transition was really working for you.
Yeah, I mean, just got to be better. I mean, you can't start the game and, just take off the bounce threes and, kind of bailed them out, I thought, early in this game. But, Drake really struggled, I thought. 3 turnovers in the first half. He finally settled down. 9 at the half. Our point guards had 5 of the 9. I sub Barnes in. He gives up 5 or 6 points. So just couldn't win at that position. I thought EP made some great strides in the second half, and I thought Drake finally settled down. But, I always give the credit to Fresno. I think they're disruptive. That's what they do. They get into the ball. We'll have to look at the tape and certainly going to play them again and figure out how we cut it down on those turnovers.
And that's, I guess, the question. Do you feel like they were self-inflicted or Fresno or just a good mix
of both?
I
think a lot of them were. I'd have to watch it, but I felt like a lot of our stuff tonight, we would call play and guys would, try to do their own thing. And that's not a recipe for success. So, we've spent probably 65% on the defensive side of the ball. So you're going to be good at what you practice at. I really thought we spent a lot of time on offense over the last 2 weeks. Thought we were settling down, getting the shots, but you just can't have 12 assists, 20 turnovers. I mean, you're not going to win very few games. But as I told the players, we're not going to sit around and whine about it. We're going to celebrate wins. 2 years ago when Coach Sprinks came up here, I think one of the greatest teams that Utah State's ever had to win in overtime.
Yeah.
Last year at home, we stunk. So you have to bring it every night. Winning is hard, and we held a team to 63. There's very few teams in the country that can go on the road and hold a team almost under 60 points. So the defense is the real deal. We're good at what we practice at, So we got to get back, hopefully get out of here pretty quick. And, you got to play better. There's no doubt about it. But hats off to Fresno. They're a much better team. They'll beat people in this building, and glad we got to win.
Well, I'll let you go, Coach. I know we got a flight to catch. So
are you with us, Scotty?
I'm not actually. I'm flying out tomorrow.
Get on the plane. Let's get you out of here, too. Thanks, buddy.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
72.
You were there, you watched the game, or you heard it all here on KVNU. So now it's your chance to give your thoughts and ask your questions about the action as KVNU Aggie Game Day continues with Aggie Call. The phone line is 435-753-KVNU. The text line is 435-554-1175. It's KVNU Aggie Call with J.D. Walker and Stockton Jukes.
The A is blue on a very chilly night in Logan. At 25 degrees outside the KVNU studios as the Aggies take care of business in the state of Fresno. 72-63. Stockton Jukes, J.D. Walker, and your thoughts, 435-554-1175. A couple things. I'm dealing with nuclear migraine right now, and Stockton, I'm going to blame the camera on the game.
They played that basketball game on a cruise ship, apparently.
Oh man, it was just swaying back and forth.
I'm still a little nauseous.
Yeah, I'm running on life support tonight here. So Stockton and Jalen going to do a lot of the heavy lifting today. But Stockton, a win's a win. But also, my first comment was, well, we're going to drop in the rankings across the board.
And we did. We dropped a spot in Ken Pom from 31 to 32. After that was input. They do a good job of getting those in quick. So I'd expect the net rankings to follow suit. Probably a couple more spots just because it's easier to drop in the net. But I'd say we probably still stay in the top 25 net rankings. And listen, bad offensive performance, but a pretty decent defensive performance. So kind of just got to take what you can get in conference. You go on the road in conference, it's hard to win, like Calhoun just said. So take what you can get, address what you need to address. The turnovers are terrible. That 12 to 20 ATO is maybe the worst ATO I've seen out of a Jerrod Calhoun-led Utah State Aggie team. Rebounding was questionable. And you got to hit your foul pitches, man. You got to take the free points. So a couple things they need to address in practice before Saturday. But you get the job done. You're 11-1. 9 points on the road against a conference opponent. It's not an ugly game. It wasn't pretty, but it wasn't ugly.
I mean, yeah, I think you're right in saying that thing. I think the biggest problem tonight, there's a couple of them, and I'm going to let you pick from this list. Top 3 issues I see for this Aggie team moving forward, and whichever one you want to start with, it's fine. Number 1, turnovers. Number 2, turnovers. And number 3, turnovers.
Yeah, I'd throw number 4, free throw shooting. But, yeah, it's just unbelievably bad ball handling. Like I said, 12-20 in the ATO is about as bad as I've ever seen this team perform when you're talking about that specific stat. Drake Allen, man, got to figure that out. 5 turnovers in multiple games this season out of a guy that's supposed to be your older, more experienced, more intelligent leader. For him to just be throwing the ball away like it's charity is really frustrating to watch. And then you've got 4 guys with at least 3 turnovers, and MJ Collins, Adlin Elamine, Elijah Perriman, and Karson Templin. So, got to be smarter with the basketball.
Because those, that kind of loosey-goosey with the basketball is going to come back against some of these bigger opponents. They're going to show up and say, hey, we're going to be able to take advantage of.
And now, so is 68% from the free throw line. You leave 7 points at the stripe against a conference opponent that's going to play you tougher than Fresno. That's a lot of missed opportunities.
And 25% from three-point land. I mean, just not really kind of a sputtering offensive performance for the Aggies tonight all the way around. Looks like the final shots at this, the game percentage shot under 50%, 25 from three-point land. Of course, we talked about the turnovers, and there were positives on defense. The 14 steals were great, but the Aggies pretty careless on offense with the ball, and Fresno State matching that. Another thing, the kid, Jaquez, he's going to be a problem when he gets there, but man, I don't know if anybody else, I don't know what was more nauseating, the camera angle back and forth or the French puns, the Eiffel Tower, all that. Oh, man. It's like
those guys were treating it like I treat some of my club sports games where I'm just there to root for the homies, basically. It was funny.
It was kind of rough, but that camera angle is definitely rough. If you want to sound off, 435-554-1175. We'll get into the text line, and I'll go ahead and get Jalen on the phone right now.
Yeah, a little quiet on the text front tonight. Not too surprising. It's, New Year's Adam, and people are tired, and little holiday hangovers from all the naps and stuff. First one, though, came before we were done, right around halftime. 54-52 says, how is Keller on this team, and why is he playing so much? Provides nothing. Bad game from him, and we talked in the pregame about how liked what he'd been doing for the last couple games. Completely fell off the earth tonight. I think all 4 of your big men for this team played bad games. You had 4 fouls from Gary Clark, Karson Templin, and Adlin Elamine. 4 points from Adlin, 5 from Karson, 2 from Gary, and 2 from Keller. 1 rebound for Keller, 3 for Gary, 13 for Karson. So shout out to Karson on the glass at least. But, yeah, just not any real production from your big bodies tonight in a game where we expected them to be able to take over. So, props to Fresno State for taking advantage of that post battle when we didn't think they had the physical edge to do so. But they really managed to shut down those 4 for Utah State, and I was not thrilled with some of the whistles that were being blown against those guys, but just aside from that, didn't play really good basketball today.
Joining us here on Aggie Call postgame, Jalen Moore. Jalen, what did you see from the Aggies win? 72-63, but not kind of the result we were expecting.
Yeah, definitely not. We did actually show a little bit of rust. I honestly didn't think we were going to, but we did, and we had 20 turnovers. I think those are areas that we still just have to fine-tune and get better at. But at the end of the day, we did win. It was kind of a weird game. It's always kind of to be expected when you play in the Save Mart Center. It just has a weird atmosphere, not a ton of energy and stuff like that. So that was like the only negatives. I thought, every game we can't beat every team by 20. So I think different styles of games, you got to find ways to win, and I think we still did that. I thought Mason looked good. MJ looked good. I really like Colby King off the bench today. We're always looking for that consistent third or fourth scorer. I think he stepped up in that role off the bench today. So I did like those areas. But I still definitely think we got to fine-tune, the turnovers just in case when we do play teams like San Diego State, some other teams like that can capitalize on those a little bit more. We just definitely got to be careful with that.
Talking to Jalen Moore here on KVNU Aggie Game Day. Let's go ahead and jump into the text line, guys.
Yep, couple more coming in here. This Fresno team is an average team at best. I hope this conference is not setting the Ags up with a 29-1 record and be the only Mountain West team in the tournament, only to be bounced out in the first round where they will play a good battle-tested team. Not the Ags' fault. This conference is just weak this year. Jalen, we've talked a little bit about the strength of the Mountain West this year. It does not seem as strong as it was last season. I don't think that's really far out there to say. But just from the Aggies standpoint, how can you kind of solidify yourself as a better seed, as a tournament contender when the rest of your conference is not making you look great?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest way to do that is, obviously you got to take care of business against the teams that we should beat, like the likes of the Fresno State, San Jose Air Force, those kind of teams. Those are the teams that you can't let really hang around. We kind of did that a little bit tonight with Fresno, but like I said, still came away with the win. And then if you can go out there and still beat teams, San Diego State, if you can beat them at San Diego State, and honestly just kind of put a fine footprint on all those games that you play, I think that's just the way that you have to get a better seed. But, yeah, I don't think the Mountain West is as strong. So I think there's just going to be some games that are trap games, and you just got to make sure you take care of business every time out, especially in those trap games.
Moving on up the text line, 9315. Production crew of this Fresno game gets a really raving review of a D-. Jalen, were you getting some seasickness watching that?
Yeah, it was a little rough, huh? Kind of choppy and stuff. So I had to make sure it wasn't my connection at first. So I disconnected and reconnected back to it, and it was still like that. So, yeah, it was a little bit choppy on my end for sure.
A little weird. 93-15, keeping going. I think there was some rust USU had to shake off when it came to the first half with shooting. There was about a dozen times Fresno just took the approach of trying to be out of control, big rig when headed to the paint, throwing up a prayer shot, and the ref said foul, not saying it was the refs, but defense all the way. Yeah, heard what Calhoun said about the defense, so I guess let's shift to the defense for a second there. How do we feel about where this team sits defensively?
Yeah, I think the thing is I like what we do defensively at times. I think there are a few games where we get in foul trouble or just foul too much, and we end up letting the other team get free points when we're not even guarding them. We're sending them to the free throw line. There's not a lot of easier shots than that in layups. So I think those are things that we got to try to avoid. We got to guard better without using our hands and being in position at times. Like we said, we held them to 63 points, but you do give a lot of those points to a team like Fresno because of the free throw line. So I think those are areas and defensively we can improve. And I still think that our defensive rebounding as well could still improve too. I think there's just too many opportunities that we give teams second chance points and all that kind of stuff. So I think we could step up the physicality of the rebounding and stuff like that, and then just, playing defense without fouling.
Physicality is one of my new favorite words in the game. It seems like that's what the refs were going at. That and the Eiffel Tower. I don't think I've ever heard so many references to the Eiffel Tower. How did you like the French puns, Jalen? Were you going to get some, crepes and some baguettes or something there? Did it give you any French influence from all the puns for the big man from Fresno State?
Right. I know they were honestly, I was intrigued as kind of coming into the game, seeing what kind of player he was going to be. And honestly, I like him. I thought he was solid for them. He's a big presence. He can block shots. He's just a freshman. 5, games in a row of a double-double. And he's just a specimen. He's just a presence in there. And I like to see guys attack him. I really liked when Colby King went at him the one time and finished over him. I think that's what you have to do with the guys like that. But I think for the most part, with Karson being undersized and Gary Clark being undersized, we battled for the most part. But we're going to see a lot of bigs like that in the Mountain West, or guys that are athletic that can match, almost that size and physicality. So I still think rebounding wise, those are things we're going to have to match and be prepared for against these other Mountain West teams.
Moving it on up the KVNU text line, you can get involved 435-554-1175. 5338 says, always enjoy the boisterous crowd at the sold-out Save Mart Center. Whoever was running the main camera tonight has some pretty unsteady hands. It kept turning at an angle like I was watching the villains lair in a Batman show. I think, this is my theory, I think they had their auto level on, and because the court lines weren't parallel with the framing of the camera, the camera itself was freaking out because it was really smooth tilting, but it was definitely tilting. So Just a weird viewing experience. Moving up, 1,800. Can't live and die by swings in the rankings with 19 games still to play. What matters most is winning, and doing so on the road in the Mountain West is tough. Just flip over and see San Diego State struggling at San Jose State. That's true. Let's go ahead and pull up that score right now because, and this is what I was getting at with going on the road and in conference especially is tough. These teams know you, man. They've been playing you for 13 years now if you're Utah State in the Mountain West. So they've got a good scouting report on you, even with, turnover and graduation and all this stuff. Going on the road and beating a tough team like Fresno State by 9, even if it was ugly, it's still a good win. San Jose State currently leading 53-52 against the Aztecs in San Jose right now, by the way.
Oh, man, the preseason NBA championship, San Diego State Aztecs, who are going to win not over that, but the Premier League. I think even the Stanley Cup was awarded to them preseason.
There was talks about starting a Super League in Saudi Arabia with San Diego State. So.
Yeah, they apparently Final Four, Elite Eight was the vibe. Only coming from really the San Diego metropolitan area, Jalen, but it's always, preseason hopes and everything. Sometimes they're a little grounded, sometimes they're not.
I still think the Aztecs will pull this off down the stretch.
They've got enough talent to be able to clean things up. But
the one I'm really going to be paying attention to is New Mexico at Boise on Fox Sports 1 right now. That's going to be a good game. It's 11-7 New Mexico, 10 minutes into the game right now. Anyway, let's go ahead.
Sure. And I think, like you guys said, I think those teams like San Diego State, Boise State, I think they struggled a little bit in non-conference and stuff, but I still think they're going to be like our best opponents come Mountain West. Like we said, you guys named it. Like when you play at San Jose or Air Force or Fresno State, it's just kind of like weird energy. You kind of got to bring your own, and they will definitely beat some teams at their places. So I think these are games, like you said, they're kind of like those trap games, but you still have to go in there. Some of them are going to be ugly. Like we might play San Jose at San Jose or something like that. And some of these games, like tonight's game, wasn't the best looking game, but you still have to find ways to win in conference play. And I think that's where like the best teams are going to be made. And like we're going to find out about it again too. Like San Diego State's going to have to make some plays down the stretch to beat San Jose, because these teams like San Jose and Fresno, they've got nothing to lose when they're playing the likes of a Utah State or a San Diego State. They're going to go out there and play with, a lot of freedom, a lot of confidence, because they've got nothing to lose. I mean, and everything to gain. They're not supposed to win that game. So, like I said, those are some trap games, and I think it makes these teams like Utah State, San Diego State, their players have to come out and make some big plays, and I think that's what's going to set apart like these top teams from the mid or the bottom tier in the conference this year.
83-87 agreeing with that sentiment. A win is a win. Fresno is a rough place to play. 10 days off probably caused some rust, no doubt about that. 0783 chiming in with a couple. Nice to get to 2-0 in conference play and have one conference road game out of the way, blowing out everyone in league play, because we did so. The first game was never how it was going to work. Amen. The good news is there are no more Thanksgiving or Christmas breaks on the schedule to cause rust, and they actually play on a holiday instead of taking a break, Valentine's Day against Memphis. So, yeah, like JD was saying, too, in the pregame, from here on out, it's Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Saturday, whatever it is, week in, week out. You're playing on the same days every week, and it's more of a consistent schedule, closer travel, more familiar teams, and while that can hurt in what they've got on you in the scouting report, it's definitely going to keep guys in rhythm. So looking forward to some consistency there. Jalen, when you get into conference play, do you kind of find a familiar rhythm there, or is it an adjustment period every year?
Yeah, I think it's more familiar. Even though, like you said, some of the places are a little bit weird to play at, you're still familiar if you stayed around in the conference. Because you just play there every year and you play each team twice. By now you've got some non-conference, film to go off of, but now you got a couple conference games as well. Obviously some coaches and all that kind of stuff are going to change throughout the season. But this gives you a little bit more film and stuff to be able to study as from a coach's standpoint. And then from a player's standpoint, you can see a little bit more on who you're going to be guarding, what teams are going to do. So I think you're going to see some games like we saw, like it's just conference basketball. You're going to see some games like we saw against Fresno State tonight. There's going to be some games where both teams are scoring and can't miss, and there's going to be some defensive battles where, hey, so whoever makes the biggest play down the stretch is going to win the game. That's just how it's going to look in a lot of different conferences this year in college basketball. And I think as long as, like we said, as long as we take care of business and win these games on the road, as much as we want to beat teams by 40 like we did to Colorado State, it's just, in basketball, it's unrealistic. There's going to be still some teams where they play us all the way down to the stretch. and we're going to have to make some big plays to win those games. And I think that's what makes a good team. So I would rather have those games, where we win by 10, 15, maybe 8 points on the road or whatever, rather than beating a team by 40. I think it just makes us have to be a better team and make plays down the stretch.
Last one on the text line for now. You still have a couple more minutes to get your thoughts in. 435-554-1175, the KVNU text line. 9764 says, solid win tonight for the team. Need to clean up the turnovers. Never easy to win on the road, and it always seems like Fresno plays us tough in Fresno. Yeah, like Calhoun mentioned, too, a couple years ago, they had to go on the road and win in overtime. It's just things happen in conference. It's stuff happens. You're happy with a 9-point win. Minor slide in metrics, nothing to really lose sleep about. So I think clean up the turnovers, work on the foul shots. I don't have too much to sweat about after tonight.
So since my brain's mush right now, maybe you can help me understand things. Now, this isn't just one and done with the metrics and we move forward. The metrics will play in for the whole season. So if Fresno State goes on our tear, it'll make this win look a lot better as we're getting through the season. It's just instant kind of reaction to the metrics now. It was interesting. I was talking to Jason on the Full Court Press about how to stop tanking in the NBA. This is also one of those things where it's like celebrating a win, but we didn't win by what the numbers said we should. Therefore, we're going to slide a little bit. It's almost like winning, defeat. Kind of, it's a weird feeling to be at right now in an adjustment.
Yeah, and that's one of the weirdest things about the Q1 through Q4 system is they're all fluid until the last game of the season is played, and then after the bracket comes out, it doesn't matter anymore after that. But yeah, it's constantly moving. So right now, with Fresno being a 167 in the net when that game started, I believe on the road that makes it a Q3 win for Utah State. I think so. I'll have to double check that. But then, obviously if they do go on a tear, they end up higher up in conference and they get above, 150 or 125 or something like that. That becomes a Q2 win on the road. So all that stuff is flexible. It changes quickly. And, you'll keep an eye on it. The other thing, too, is these metrics are constantly shifting and changing. And so, you wish you could have won that by more, and you wish you could have had a better performance. But the number 7 team in the country, Gonzaga, just barely escaped San Diego 99-93, so they didn't win that game by what they were supposed to either. It happens all the time. It's all going to wash out when it comes to March and we're building out brackets and stuff like that. But, just need to play a little bit cleaner basketball. That being said, getting the win on the road by 9 points, you'll take that.
So now changing kind of the focus, still time to get some last-minute questions or comments on tonight's victory over Fresno. 435-554-1175 for the KVNU text line. But now, guys, going to ask you a little bit. And, Jalen, I'll start with you. The Aggies coming back home. Be in the Spectrum, 2 o'clock this coming up Saturday, 1 o'clock start time here on KVNU Aggie Game Day. Early matchup predictors, 96.6% pulling this as an Aggie victory, but it is conference play. What are you expecting after the performance tonight? Put yourself in Coach Calhoun's shoes. How do you think practice is going to go, and what do you expect to see from this Aggie team as the Spartans come to the Spectrum?
Yeah, I think we'll look different, too. I think because, the last time we had a game like this, we were a little rusty. In the next game, we bounced back. So I'm thinking we're going to see that same thing. Obviously, we're going to do a lot of probably different things where our guards are dealing with some pressure and that kind of stuff so they can handle the ball and not turn it over in those types of circumstances. Obviously, we're probably going to be shooting a lot of free throws the remainder of the week at practice. And I could see our guys getting a lot of shots up, too. I think we didn't shoot a high percentage from 3, which we're usually known for, but I think that percentage is also going to go up in the Spectrum. I just think we play better. We shoot better. Our free throw percentages, usually most players and teams play better at home. So I think you're going to see a different team, and honestly, I think we kind of see a blowout on Saturday against San Jose. I think maybe a different story, and it's a little bit closer when we go to San Jose, but I think when these teams that we should beat come to the Spectrum, for the most part, our guys get up, and we play hard, and we beat most of those teams by a pretty good margin. And then it's a little bit different on the road just because, like I said, I think guys are a little bit more familiar at home. So you kind of just get that difference. But I think on Saturday, we look good. We look different. We take care of the ball more. We shoot better. Our free throw percentage raises. And I think we just take care of business like we're supposed to on Saturday against the Spartans.
If you want to be in the building on Saturday for that game, you've got plenty of ways to do so. The athletics department announced earlier today they're selling tickets in the student section again for that game. $15 for youth, $20 for adults. The students won't be back till Sunday night going into Monday. Classes are back on the 5th, so fill in the gaps. People did a really great job on the 20th against Colorado State, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out again. But unique opportunity for any non-students, non-alumni that want to go see what that's like from that perspective. Obviously, it's not going to be the herd at full force, but always a good opportunity if you're able to get in the building.
For the Colorado State game, it was an impressive performance.
Yeah, the students that were in town, especially my fellow out-of-staters that, some of them get stuck here for the holidays, they showed out. They did a great job. And so, athletics is going to try and fill in some gaps, but I don't think there will be too many to fill in. So if you want to grab those tickets, probably do it now.
Yeah, they're running out. I know Hulk Logan, shout out, because he got his kiddos coming up here for aviation school, and he just realized he might have to depart with some family assets to pay for that.
Yep.
But he was looking for a ticket and able to secure one. Last few tickets they have available to be up there at the Spectrum. It's going to be cold outside, so go, hang out with 8,000 to 10,000 of your closest friends, scream your head off, and after, the reactionary games that Coach Calhoun has, I expect we'll see a pretty big performance. What you got, Stockton?
I have a shocker of a box score that just came across my screen.
Okay.
75-62 in a Mountain West basketball game tonight. Do you know who the two teams are?
Well, I cheated. I have the scoreboard right in front of me, but it's the Wolfpack in Colorado State. Of course, Colorado State not rolling with Jorgensen. Jorgensen's out a couple of weeks. We saw him got kind of re-injured that thing, but don't look now, Jalen, but the Nevada UNR.edu Wolfpack, 10-3, 2-0 to start the Mountain West season.
Yeah, and that honestly surprised me a little bit. I wasn't sure what they were going to bring back or look like this year, but I think they would surprise a lot of people, and they have a chance of being at the top of the conference too. And honestly, I won't be surprised if they stay pretty hot. Usually Nevada's pretty consistent. I'm looking at them, San Diego State, Boise State. I think those are going to be the teams where there's those big fill type of games in the Mountain West this year, and then the other ones are going to kind of just be those bottom tier, mid tier, games that you just got to take care of business in for sure.
Colorado State's also being exposed right now as an extremely shallow team when it comes to the roster. Without Jorgensen, they're getting clapped.
Man, he is so much of their offense, but man, when he comes back, look out. They'll be coming back to the back half of that season with some vengeance. Looking at Boise State, New Mexico right now, 3:34 left to go in the first. New Mexico down by 4, 19-15. Boise State with the lead there. And with about 6 minutes left in the game, San Diego State up 59-57 over San Jose State. Wyoming took down Air Force earlier in the day. As we just mentioned, Nevada took down Colorado State. And Utah State took down the state of Fresno 72-63. Going to wrap up with some final thoughts here, guys. Jalen, what do you think we're going to see this week from the Aggies getting ready to take on to the Spectrum? Do you expect you're going to see some of the guys who maybe struggled? Do you think maybe seeing them show out a little bit in front of the home crowd?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think we're going to have stronger guard play, too. I think MJ and Mason did a good job. But I think Drake Allen and Elijah Perryman, I think they're both going to play better on Saturday, too. And I think that's just going to be, one of the things that the coaches kind of touch on is that, we just got to have a little bit more consistency in our point guard play. And just, especially through conference play, finding that third or fourth scorer that's going to be very consistent up there with Mason and MJ. I think that's just what the best teams have, is just another guy they can rely on, whether it's another guy from the starting five or the bench, and if it could easily be a guy like Colby King throughout conference. I thought he looked good tonight, played with confidence. So those are kind of the things I'm going to be looking for. But I think come Saturday, our point guard play, I think, is going to improve and look better. And I honestly think we're going to shoot way better from the free throw line and 3-point line for sure.
All right, Jalen, thank you so much for joining us. Let us know where we can find you here in Cache Valley. You've got training for the next generation of prep athletes going to college and looking to further their career. Where can they find you here in Cache Valley?
Yeah, for sure. The best spot would be our website. That's going to have everything we do from trainings, teams, everything like that. That's nextlevel435.com. or if you want to contact me directly, our website will also have our email on there, but our email is nextlevelbasketball435@gmail.com.
All right, Jalen, you have a good New Year's Eve and New Year's, and we'll talk to you on Saturday, my friend.
Yep, same to you guys. I appreciate you.
All right, Jalen Moore joins us on every KVNU Aggie Game Day and Aggie Call to give us his thoughts, insights of a former Aggie joining us here, and we appreciate him taking his time every game. Stockton, going to you now, my friend. What do you expect to see when the Aggies come back home 2 o'clock in the Spectrum against the Spartans?
I think it'll be better than this. I hope it'll be better than this. I have to believe it will because I got to feel like Coach Calhoun's going to get his guys in shape once they get back to town. Tomorrow, I expect they'll be practicing in the Estes. And I hope they're going to spend a good half hour or so on free throws. But really, what's concerning to me and what I'm noticing is just they seem less confident in the ball movement that they were trying to execute tonight than they have been in the last couple games. It felt like that was really something that had been addressed or maybe they had been working on. But just being confident in the ball movement, being confident in your passes, not second-guessing those passes, not kind of going with the 50-50 play, just knowing where the ball needs to be and putting it there. There seemed like less confidence, a little more hesitancy in ball control and all that kind of stuff. So just want to see them get a little bit more solid on their feet on Saturday, move the ball with some more purpose, with some more confidence and consistency. But most of all, I would just like to see the free throws fall and the ATO go back into the positives.
So do you think the point spread would have matched what the metric says today? Maybe there's probably about 4 or 5 attempted passes that ended up in turnovers. These I would label as high risk, high reward, but very high risk. If we kind of cut those, maybe slow down that, maybe we hit the points. Do you see that as maybe if there's a way to maybe the emphasis is hey, yeah, the Hail Mary is great, but there's a reason why it's called the Hail Mary. Maybe limit some of those dangerous passes?
Yeah, I think so. Listen, Utah State won this game because they are the better team flat out. Against a more challenging opponent, they make those same mistakes and they lose the game. It's just that's the nature of it. So it's a closer game against Fresno State because you played sloppy on offense and because you didn't take advantage of all your possessions. You do that against a Boise, New Mexico, Nevada, you're going to pay for it. So they've got to clean that up before they play some of the higher caliber conference teams. That being said, I
thought we did a home and away with the Utes this year, not Boise. Sorry.
Oh, goodness. That joke is never going to die.
No, it's not going to die. And right now with a migraine, that every time I move my head, it just throbs. I'm reaching for anything that I've got there. But, yeah, I expect them to clean it up. I know that Coach Calhoun's never really satisfied unless it's an overall dominant performance from the team that he knows that can produce it. So he knows, the guys know, the point guard play tonight, the turnover's definitely an issue, and that's going to be a focus of the next couple of days. If we've seen it, we know it, and Coach Calhoun's like, oh, my gosh.
That's the first thing he said. It's the sloppiest offensive performance he's seen in a long time. So he'll address it. To me, yeah, the turnovers are bad, but the free throws need to be addressed as well. So hopefully they get a handle on that because I do not want to go back to last February where we're crouching and sweating every time someone goes to the charity stripe. It needs to be dang near gimme from the foul line. So
I've got my rosary from last year's free throw shooting, and the beads are worn out. I had to order new rosary beads because I tell you, I just, and I thought it was gone, but then today it showed back up. The 3-point shooting today kind of reminiscent of some of the early game struggles we saw in the season, but they were able to clean those up. I really think this coaching staff, and this team, not just satisfied with the wins. They know what they're capable of achieving. You hear it, and when they talk and when they share. And I really think we're going to see an Aggie team coming back to the Spectrum, home cooking, New Year. The crowd's going to be there. I think we're going to see them, step on the throat of their opponent. Yeah,
Utah State did not play to their potential tonight. I think everyone in the program knows it. We know it. Fans know it. Jason Walker in the studio over knows it. Everyone is aware that Utah State did not play to their full potential tonight. They got away with it because they played a less than quality basketball team. They won't get away with it all season, but they won't play like this all season either. So, I think it's just up to Calhoun to make the necessary adjustments, and then we'll see what happens when San Jose State comes to town. Like we expected, though, San Diego State running away with it, now up 8 at the under 4 timeout.
So that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for us here on KVNU Aggie Call. Thanks for the interaction on the text line. Stockton, thanks for helping me out, my friend. Migraines are one of those things in life that don't pick and choose when they show up. But
I'll see y'all on the slopes in the morning, buddy.
Yep, somebody's going to be at the Beeve. If you see a 10,000 gigawatt smile coming from east of us, that's going to be Stockton out there enjoying the opening day at the Beeve. For Stockton Jukes, Jalen Moore, I'm J.D. Walker. Thank you for listening to KVNU Aggie Call. The A is blue in Cache Valley tonight as the Aggies handle business 72-63 over Fresno State. Have a good Tuesday night. The next time we see you, pregame on Saturday, 1 o'clock, as the Aggies welcome San Jose State into the Spectrum. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels make you crazy.
This Utah State broadcast has been a presentation of News Talk KVNU and the Cache Valley Media Group, the heritage home for the Aggies.
York owed $93,000